Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to revisit Sins of a Solar Empire 2. It's important to stress that what you're looking at is like a early access of sorts. It's not early access on Epic, but it is in development. So everything that you're about to see is subject to change. It's on Epic for $40 and it's coming to Steam on Q3 of 2024. So, Sins of a Solar Empire 2. I've been messing around with this game off and on for the last year, possibly longer, waiting for updates to come in. It seems like it's taken a while for updates to hit. And I revisited the game today, and it needs a lot of work, but it did take a couple of steps forward in a couple of areas. So I wanted to show off the game and show you what it's like now, should you want to pick it up on Epic before it hits Steam. And it's completely up to you. So what I did was I played half of a game offline, and I sort of bookmarked some saves that I can instantly zoom to. As far as like creating a new game, this is what's available. Random 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, and then some like maps that you can choose between. But that's pretty much it. That's what you have access to right now. As far as like when you create a lobby, there are two factions right now. There's the TEC and the Visari. The TEC do have, you can choose between loyalists and rebels. They act somewhat differently, and then the same with the Visari. There's Exodus and the Alliance. The faction I chose from my playthrough was the Alliance, just to see what they were. I think. I think it was the Alliance. But anyway, one thing I will just complain about. No matter what difficulty you set this on, there's easy, medium, hard, unfair, nightmare, impossible. That's borked. It totally is borked. I put this on easy, and within an hour, the AI has this massive fleet. And no matter what behavior I give it, aggressive, defensive, research, economic, it doesn't matter. They build this huge fleet and steamroll everything. So it's like the difficulty has not been balanced yet. And I'm not a slouch to RTS games. In fact, I played as efficiently as possible for this playthrough. And I'm toe-to-toe with the AI, but he now has a fleet of like 750 fleet production ships, whatever. And I'm like, I'm just, it's going to take me 4 or 5 hours to build up enough to get past him. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done. A quick 1v1 in an 8-player map should not take 6 to 7 hours, and it should not be this difficult on easy. So my biggest complaint is if you're in this for a casual setting, it's not there yet. It simply isn't there yet. I know Stardock can do it because they do have other games where easy is actually easy. They have a tower defense game, which the name escapes me right now. But there's difficulties 1 through 10, and 1 is extremely easy. So I know that they can do it. It's just, it hasn't been implemented, and I hope it gets implemented at some point. There's some options here and map details. One thing I didn't see in the settings is a way to increase the user interface, like to make it bigger. There's sound sliders, there's a resizable window. Now, layout and scaling, it doesn't go any bigger. It gets smaller, but it doesn't get bigger. It says 75%, 100%. This needs to go up to 200, 250% so I can see what's going on. I have poor eyesight. It's very difficult to see. So this is a look at the user interface area. Keybinds, I'm not going to bother with that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a save file. So let's go ahead and hit exit. And then, there's multiplayer. If you want to host multiplayer, I have not tested that. If I get a key for it, I'll try it, but I have not received a press key for this. I actually bought Sins of a Solar Empire 2 over a year ago with my own money. So if I get a press key, then I'll test it, but I'm not in any hurry. Okay, so load game, and we'll start with DGA 1, which is like the early part of this playthrough. And one thing you'll notice right out of the gate, there's these little streaks coming from these planets. What's cool is that there's orbits in this game, and these planets actually move. So, like, what like this one planet, there may be planets in your playthrough that, like, currently connect to another planet, but then separate from it at one point, and then maybe connect to something else in the future. It's all based on what kind of map you get, what map you pick. In this case, it looks like these will be sticking around together for a while because they're all moving up and to the right like that. But some may go faster than others. It's actually quite cool. You can actually see there's this future orbits button to see how the orbits will change over time. You can actually see that this Vangelis whatever disconnected from the main star here. So if I reset it and hit that button, you'll see little lines are disconnecting from each other. Again, orbits will affect what planets will connect and which ones won't. So that's kind of cool. As far as the real-time strategy aspect itself, let's go ahead and zoom in on a planet here. This is the home planet. And the interface for the most part is the same, and the concept for the most part is the same. Every planet has logistics slots, which allows you to build structures in space. The more you upgrade this, the more structures you can build in space, because they're called slots. This structure might be 2 slots, and this structure might be 3 slots. So upgrading that gives you more builders and gives you more civilian slots, orbit slots. And then you've got the defense button here, which you can upgrade that so you can increase how many military defense slots that you have that you can put into orbit. So that affects how many military buildings you can put in orbit. That hasn't changed. Another thing that's different, however, there's this Empire Research and Warfare Research. You need to upgrade these 2 down here in order to gain points for your tech tree. There's a tech tree if I click on this. As you can see, I mean, there's still 2 trees. There's the, in this case, the Empire Research is like your civilian tree, and then your Warfare Research is like your military tree. And you're stuck in a particular column or tier, like this is tier 1, this is tier 2, this is tier 3. In order to get to the next tab, tier 4, I need 15, it says required 15 research points. So on a number of my planets, I have to try and upgrade these things enough in order to get to the next tier. Planets can build upgrades on the surface. On the bottom left, there's slots to build on your planet. There's economy buildings, there's defense buildings, there's support buildings. Some of these support buildings include add +2 warfare research points to your empire, something like that. So you can, without having to upgrade these down here, you can put buildings down on the planets to do that as well, but you have a limited number of slots. There's actually this is cool. There's a colonize planets button. If I click on that, and then click over to planet items. These are all of the slots that are available for my current planet. So I can click on this, build something. Click on this, build something. Click on this, build something. I mean, instead of me having to zoom out, click on that, go down here, click on that, and then go to this planet down here, asteroid, click on that, click down here. I can do it all from one location, which is kind of cool. So I can construct buildings down here. I can also build or upgrade my logistics from here as well. Civilian orbit tab, this is where you can go to build civilian structures. There's crystal and metal excavators, assuming there are appropriate asteroids in orbit to mine. Those are your 2 resources. You've got metal and crystal up here. The Visari don't use credits unless it's for a particular upgrade or something like that. But typically they don't use credits for much of anything. That's just faction specific. So yeah, you can build other civilian buildings like factories to build your ships, Xeno relations to spread influence, that gives you buffs in various ways. Exotic refineries allow you to make exotic minerals. Some of your research that you build, like research or some ships that you build require, or buildings that you build require certain specific minerals. There's a quick look at that. These are exotics. Terranite, Enderium, Calendide. You can gain these by looting enemy capital ships and looting other things, but you can also make them as well by clicking on them. You need these in order to do some of the other things in the game. So these are special exotic minerals that you will need. Getting back to this screen here, Research labs increases research rate. There's phase gates, fleet beacons, phase resonator. The phase resonator is unique to the Visari, as far as I know, because there's a resonance button here, and you can spend your resonance to increase utility, combat, and mobility across your entire fleet. So it's like a fleet upgrade kind of thing. By constructing a bunch of those buildings, you can throw points into this phase resonance area to increase the strength of your ships. So that's really cool. Fleet supply is handled a little differently in this game. And since it was Solar Empire 1 and Rebellion, or 2 and then Rebellion, the every time you upgraded your cap, your fleet supply cap, typically you were penalized. Like your metal income was lowered, your crystal income was lowered, and so on. Which, yeah, it wasn't as nice, because like the larger you made your fleet, the less resources you made. As far as I can tell, that doesn't happen here. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I just haven't researched far enough into my cap to really see a difference. But yeah, there's just fleet supply. That's just your caps. Minor factions. There are minor factions that will populate like different spots. Like there's Vangelis here, and they don't really do anything as far as I can tell. I haven't really interacted with them much. But yeah, there's that. I'm assuming you can interact with them to gain buffs, but I haven't really messed with that yet. Okay, so that's like an early look at how this all plays out. I'm going to actually load up. It's not going to let me load from here. Seriously, I have to go back, close, and then load up. Let's say DGA2. There is loot in the environment, and by bringing a capital ship over to it, you can loot it. This is a wreckage from, I think, an enemy capital ship. I'm going to gain some credits, metal, and crystal for that. And yeah, I just did. So yeah, there's my capital ship there. And you can see a history like ship wreckage loot, 223 credits. So I think at this point I was in the process of wiping out one of the enemy planets. Like before I saw the mainstay of their fleet, this is what I experienced. And I feel like they cheat a little bit because they're able to build things very quickly. But yeah, ship combat is beautiful to watch. This is a lot of fun. I can't wait for talented modders to create like the Star Trek mod, which was available in Rebellion. I thought that was really fun, and I may go back to that at some point. But I can't wait for them to do some kind of like Star Trek mod for Sins of the Solar Empire 2. It's going to be a lot of fun if and when they do that. So yeah, just a quick look at some of the Visari ships. Of course, there are other capital ships that you can construct. You can upgrade capital ships as well. Again, they gain level over time. You can upgrade their skills, and different capital ships have different skills. But like planets, you can also construct upgrades. And again, this is very small and hard for me to see. Maybe difficult for you too, but you can like construct things to add to your ship. There's 4 slots for this one. Some of them are permanent bonuses, and you have to watch. Some of them are limited uses. This one is a nano catalyzer swarm. It says here antimatter restore rate 12 per second, but uses 5. So like some of these are consumable. So you just have to watch out for that. Thinking if you have it on auto, you're like, well, where did it go? Well, because you had it on auto, it just got used up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's actually really cool. I'm going to go ahead and head back and load up another save. I think this one here. This is where I got frustrated and quit. I'm an hour and 35 minutes into this match. Zooming out, like they've got this planet, this one. That's 3 possibly, maybe more than that. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roughly. And then I get attacked. Like, they just keep coming. But, I mean, I guess I'll end it here. Like, they just keep coming. There's a capital ship there. Capital ship there. Capital... There's no way they're not cheating. Based on what I've seen, like, they've got... Alright, maybe they've got these 2 and I haven't seen it yet. But, like, they are... The difficulty is such where... this should be casual. I have them set to defensive. I have them set to easy. I should be able to, experience combat, but like they have so many ships. This is not difficulty easy. This is like difficulty hard, in my opinion. And granted, I'm not the fastest when it comes to my button clicks, but I have tendinitis. So if the developers do not change the difficulty and balance this appropriately, this is where I would have to give the games a thumbs down despite everything else, because I wasted $40 on a game I can't play because they didn't bother balancing it. So like that is my biggest gripe with it right now. The fact that, easy is not easy. It should be. A player should be able to sit back, relax, do some, casual real-time strategy playing without too much threat. I want to be attacked. I want to feel threatened, but this is an hour and a half in. I mean, come on, serious? Look at this. The sheer size of this. I had just half an hour before. I had taken his planet here at Veritas, and all of a sudden now he's got all of this. Like, serious? Like, he's fast. So the developers really need to tone that down a bit. And my research isn't bad either. I mean, I'm almost on Warfare. I'm on almost hitting tier 4. So I'm nearing like the end of this. So like this is definitely borked. But anyway, that's where I quit, and that's where I'm gonna quit, because at this point it's just no longer fun for a casual player. But I did want to show you the game, show you what it was like now, in case you wanted to get it now and couldn't wait for it to come onto Steam. My impressions of this is like it still has a ways to go. And I'm still waiting. Like, I've been waiting for them to balance things and to improve things for about a year now. I know development takes a while. The game is certainly pretty enough, I'll give it that. And I can't wait to actually play this when it's balanced and when it's finished. But as it stands, like, I will not come back to this until they fix the difficulty issue and balance the AI appropriately. That's a big thing for a casual player. You cannot have 7 or 8 difficulties and the easiest is too difficult for the casual player. It does not make any sense. None at all. So there you go. That was Sins of a Solar Empire 2. Something to keep an eye on, but for you casual people out there, maybe wait a bit. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.